perfect. Episode 11,
Now,
blind spots. Follow, like,
it's
subscribe. New week, light week, or at least
yeah.
it was light for me because I've been avoiding a lot of shit. Maybe could be that. Uh, start off with you.
Oh,
It's like the last week of school.
last week of
I'd
school.
imagine.
Today was the last day. I got to go back tomorrow and turn in some stuff, clean up some stuff, and I'm done. But yeah, it was a. If you can't tell by my demeanor, it was a doozy. It was a lot. Think we had. I've been at school till like 8, almost every day, except for so
Like
Friday we
PM.
had. Yeah, like we had the spring production. So Friday we had Wiz. So after school gets out 4 o'clock, I went to go pick up my daughter back to school for rehearsal. That's like picked her up, went back to the other school for rehearsal. Saturday was the actual production of the Wiz. Friday was just a rehearsal. So Saturday was woke up, I think like 10, uh, set up some stuff with some parents, knocked everything out. The show was at, I believe, 1. It was supposed to be over at 2. It ended at like 2:30. We were there till probably about 3:30, cleaning everything back up. So that was another kind of. And then what happened Saturday night? I don't know. I think I just went grocery shopping or whatever. That was kind of like the only day I had. And then Sunday, um, Karina, my wife, closed Cats. They had their rap. That was their last show. So went to that little rap party. That was cool. Got to meet
Yeah, I was
up
about to
with
say,
some
didn't you
people.
do some food or something? I thought I saw some food on her page or your page or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. We hit the rap party and then we went out with some friends for some drinks and had some little Asian Caribbean fusion food. It was cool. Uh, really finally went to go see Guardians later that night. So it
Did you
was a
cry?
lot, like a baby.
Hey,
It hit me.
keep hearing.
Yeah. Curry, she was laughing at me. She was like, she was like, this nigga. But then like literally like 5 minutes later, she started crying. So it's like, yeah, keep playing. But yeah, so then that was cool. Monday was a little late day. Tuesday was all right. Just like school ceremonies. Of course, they don't have like a media specialist, so then the art teacher becomes the impromptu social media event photographer guy. So
You
had
do
to do
art.
all that.
Take some
Yeah,
pictures. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I don't specialize in visual arts, but I
it's
guess.
like okay, we'll take pictures of these little programs y'all got made up here and these certificates. And would you like a photo for the school? Like I like hate doing event photography. Um, and then yesterday was the same thing. For the 5th grade ceremony, for their graduation ceremony, they had like it was nice, but it was like, y'all, it's just high school, it's just elementary school. Like we don't have to do all this, but they did. So they needed me there for that. Another long day, and then today was field day. So I'm I'm cooked.
They put you to
Chasing the
work.
kids around.
Put
Man,
you to work.
like I got there today at 7:20, 7:30, and I left at maybe 4:15, 4:30, and it was cool. But it was just like a full day. Like it was a beautiful day, so we were just outside all day. A couple parents were getting into it. They had to have a police escort a couple parents out. You had to rush some kids out because their kids had been bullying somebody all school year, gossiping about
Oh, so now
somebody
the
all year
parents are
long.
coming to get some get back.
Now they want smoke. Now this person mad because some parent said something to their child, and you like, you don't address my child, you address me. Call the grandma, whoopty whoop, grandma pulling up. It was a lot. So I came home, took a shower, went to go pick up honey, got back, put something in the oven for her, got to bed, had Karina feed her. I was like, you got it. I'm about to go to bed till it's time to pod. So,
The parents
hey,
getting into it.
what? So yeah, it was just like I forgot what popped it off. It was just a lot of messiness. Like somebody was putting some jacket down on the floor. They tried to figure out who did it. Somebody pointed the finger. Grandma was like, "Why are you blah 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 blah?" Then the mom was like, "Why are you in this child's face?" And then the mom called the grandma, and the grandma pulled up to the school. Then it was while they were trying to figure out that whole debacle, there was more gossiping about what had been going on throughout the year. So then that parent wanted to go and get some straightening, and it was basically like two or three sets of parents ganging up on another set of parent and their child. And then it was just like, okay, well, we need to get everybody out. Like field day ended a little bit early, maybe like 30 minutes early, because the grandma
Yeah.
was coming up to the school to, I guess let her intentions be known that she was upset about it. So yeah, it was an eventful last 3 or 4 days, but we made it. We made it. We're out. We're done, and everything's cool. How
One of
how
one of
was
the
your
things I
week
think
been?
one of the things I think is the most interesting, there's a rebuttal, is about like when you look at kids and parents, especially like young kids, is that
Mm,
like so I'm well, obviously we're getting older and like they're around the same ages. So like you have a small child, but like the ones that I mean, they would probably even say that you were a little late to the party. Like
yeah.
almost like because like
Yep.
you probably are interacting with people that are your age or even younger at
Yep.
times. And so like then you think of like your immaturity at that time, like when you were 26 or 25 or whatever it was, and
Hmm.
like, oh yeah, I could like, oh yeah, we dealing with people that
You were
like
a parent at
their
20.
frontal lobe like just finished like developing. And
Hmm.
so like you'll notice like okay, before I was thinking of parents as so much old, and then student teachers too. Like a lot of times like you'll see like the teachers on Instagram. Like I remember there was a
They're
teacher
23.
like the and she was like they're young and like the big thing is like teacher content. And so a teacher was like they heard students were like, "Hey, Miss whatever, what year did you graduate?" And she said 2009. And they're like, "Oh, you're old. Oh, you're old. You're old." And I was like, "Shit, I graduated in 2011. Like we're peers like, you know."
Tell you right now. Tell you right now, bro. It's like I would look at the person from '07 that's old, and now I'm looking at people that graduated high school and what people that graduated high school in like 18 or have college degrees now. So
Yeah.
that's now where I'm like, oh no, I'm old. The parents had their baby when they were, they're 31, 32. I'm 30. They had their kid when they were, 20, 21. They're now fourth, fifth grade beefing with each other, but they also had the pandemic. So they had those 2 years, out of school, or
Yeah.
in like a weird setup. So there's a lot of developmental stuff that just, didn't go down how it was supposed to go down, for the kids
And
on
it feel
on
like it
top of
stunted
having young
every
parents.
I would say it stunted everybody's growth almost. Like
Hmm.
2 years,
Hmm.
like almost doesn't even fucking count. Like 2020 and 2021, you might as well throw those years out.
I blinked. I literally turned 27, and I turned 20. Yeah, I turned 27 in December of 2019, and my whole life is completely
think
different
that's
after that.
I think that's when we went to Texas Day Brazil.
Yeah, yeah. That we
Or
went.
maybe that was that December or was that March of 2020?
It was March 2020, but it was like it was right before they shut everything down, and it was
Like
like
it was the 14th. It was the 14th of March because I that was the day after my last day of work, which was the 13th of March, and then I started my new job that I'm at now on the 16th of March. I was there for 2 hours, and then they sent us home because they were like, "Yeah, we don't know what the fuck's happening. Y'all just need to sit down and get out of the building."
incredible, and it's literally like that happened for everybody. So like that whole blip Thanos snap situation that we all went through during the pandemic, that happened for the kids that were just trying to figure out, their social, learning and everything like that, and then parents as well, having to be stuck in the house with their kids, and you know,
And then,
I give them shit a lot, but it is you have to be patient with them as well because they're young, and if I had a kid when I was 20 and shit shut down when I was 24,
Yeah.
and now I'm 27, it's like, would I have stopped being out as outside as I was if I wasn't already like 27, moved to Atlanta, got married? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I grew up during the pandemic. I was already planning on doing those things, but
It
they
had to
kind of,
at that point.
yeah. So then
Mm.
somebody that's younger, I can't necessarily say that I would be as I feel like I'm a great parent now. I can't say that I would be that same parent if I was 21, and Honey was 2, and the world shut down. It's like,
You'd be learning with her. Like you'd be growing up with like I think that was my mom. Like I remember my mom was doing she was doing graduate school when I was 5. So I was
mm,
starting kindergarten and she's had me when she was 20, 21. No, no, 22. I'm sorry, 22.
yeah,
So her doing graduate school, we're like at the same table doing homework together. And so like
exactly.
when I think about what I was thinking when I was 27 or 26 or 24 and this was without a kid and like what she could have possibly thinking like fresh out of the military trying to figure out this school shit and then I got 2 small children. I'm like, man, how the fuck did she do this shit? Cuz
Yeah, no,
I
that's
can't like taking care of a dog is a lot. Like 2 small children cuz it was me at 5 and my little brother was like 2 and she was able to do graduate school with a 4.0. I'm like,
That's the
what?
thing, man. That's the thing, and that's really a lot of stuff like that is like, think about stuff like that, and it puts a lot of stuff into perspective where it's like, bruh, you gotta work. You know what I'm saying? If you want this thing to go right, with your kids, with your career, it's gonna take hard work, and you gotta figure it out. And the world ain't getting no, it ain't getting better. So it's on you to figure it out and actually have that dedication because people enjoy placing blame or not doing the work. Like that's one thing I've seen a lot of times with parents, and I'm sure there are parents back in our generation that had the same thing, but it's just once you have a kid you got to kind of lock in and really now if you just want some sort of peace and financial stability you gotta lock in. Like you don't want to live check to check. You gotta lock in. Like you gotta lock in and make sure your bills get paid on time, so your credit score don't dip, so you can get the right cars you need to get, so you can you gotta lock in. It's not no you can't be lax about a lot of stuff, especially not with raising kids. And I'm thinking
No.
I'm 30. I just had mine at 28 or 29. My first kid, my parents were done. My dad was 30. My mom was 32. So they already had their 3. I'm just getting started. So I'm definitely gonna be the old dad at all the PTA meetings. But that line of thinking allows me to have grace for like some of these parents that are my same age with 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds and shit. It's like, why your kid so bad? I'm like, oh, okay, you would still fight with your baby daddy. All right, I get
Yeah.
it.
Or you were
Like,
just 21, like,
or
man,
you
I,
you wanted to
I
go
always
out.
say,
I can't
I
be mad at
always
that.
say
I
when
want I
like,
want to go out.
I'm 29 and I always say like, I just really started figuring this shit out for real when I was like 27 and then the pandemic happened. Like I was really like just kind of figuring it out. But
Yeah,
like, that's like a lot of my thoughts have changed on shit like kicking kids out at 18. Like, I think the Caribbean, like in Caribbean cultures, like they're like you're out the house either when you get married or by 30. And I was like, as much as it feels weird to like, man, you're 30 and you're at your parents' house, but it's like, bro, if you're not doing this with a partner, like where you're having a 2 income household, like it's literally impossible. There's no
we.
way you can do this. There's no way
I,
you could do this shit.
um, I think that can bring us to our first topic. Um,
Yeah. Actually,
it's,
before you
yeah,
get there, because I know it's going to kind of derail it. Because
yeah.
I didn't talk about the week.
Oh yeah,
And
go
I'll get
yeah.
it
My
out the way.
fault.
I do like how you did each day, and I'm gonna try to do the best that I can. So we obviously this today is Wednesday, so Thursday it wasn't nothing. It might have been a Heat game. This weekend, Friday I didn't do a whole lot. This weekend, what did I do? Um, uh, I was supposed to go to something with Alex. I didn't end up going, so she had fun at that. My a friend when I moved to Tampa, one of the first people I met, and I moved here when I was like 9 from across the other side of the bridge. A friend of the first one of the first friends I met, he just turned 30. And
Mm,
so I brought him a bottle of champagne, and
nice.
it's always interesting this guy because I think I talked about him before. Like sometimes he has like those crowd for help, but like he won't actually like say it. So
Right.
like when I brought him a bottle of champagne, like he was like elated, but like
Aw.
he wasn't gonna let himself like physically show it. But he was like, man, thanks. Like this is like it's later in the evening, like 5 or 6 o'clock. It's like this is my first drink I'm having at 30. Like I really appreciate this. Like I wasn't
That's
expecting
fire.
anything. And I was like, man, that's super dope. And he even posted on Instagram. This guy doesn't even really use Instagram like that. He posted on Instagram. I was like, oh, he really appreciate it. Then he
You
went out to
appreciate
eat
it. Yeah.
with his family. And I was like, man, it's always so cool that you can spend like a little bit of money, like $30, $40 for something. And people are like, man, that's super dope. And so I thought that pretty much made my day. The Heat won, so I was okay with that. Then they
Ah,
lost. Yeah, they lost yesterday, unfortunately, and yeah, just still marathon training. I did 6 miles yesterday. I'm up to like I I've never run this much in my life. Like this is it's actually it's kind of sick. Like
yeah.
in this month, I am 46 miles in on running,
Jeez, peas.
and like
That's
it's been so much, and it's changed my thought process on shit. Like taking my time with running. Like a lot of times people want to jump out the gate and they want to like I want to set a good time, and the best way I can set a good time is like to start off fast. And like I'll start off with like a very slow pace, like or at least slow for me, which would be like 11 or 12 minutes a mile. And I'm like I'll start
yeah.
stressing myself out, like how am I gonna get back to this 9 minutes? And then I'll look down after I'm crossing 2 miles, and then I'm shrinking that time. And it's like you don't feel like you're moving faster, but your body's warming up. So then your pace is like inevitably creeping up. So then once I lock in around 10, 12 minutes, like I'm moving. And so I had to do a 10K,
Wow.
and it was that's 6.2 miles, and I did it in about an hour and a minute. I did this Monday, and like it was early in the morning, and it's this ridiculous route, and like I've gotten to the point now where I can breathe through my nose while I'm still running, like
Oh, this
these
nigga's
long
a sicko.
distances.
Yes, sir.
That's really when I realized like, oh, I'm getting it. Like, cause I'm still breathing through my nose, and I look down, it's like
Yeah,
mile 4, mile 5, and I'm like, oh, my ankles don't feel bad, my hip doesn't hurt, my lower back is a little bit funky, but whatever, my knees are fine, and I just do like these system checks. And what made me know that my breathing was fine is because I stopped thinking about it. Like usually I'm thinking
incredible.
about like, oh, my knee or my hip, but then I'm like, oh shit, I'm not like panting. Like I'm breathing through my nose
Yeah,
this entire time. So yeah, that has been rewarding to see like seeing thinking like, oh, I gotta run 6 miles, like that would like stress me the fuck out like before I can even get on the road. And now I'm like running an hour is not like now I look at like 30 minutes is like, okay, that's light, whatever, I can run this 30 minutes. But
yeah.
like once you start creeping up into those longer runs, it gets crazy. Also, um, I went to dry cleaning today and I dropped something off, and she's like, "Oh, you got something to pick up too?" And I was like, "What?"
I
I
do.
kind of thought I did,
Do
but I
I?
couldn't remember if I did. And she was like, "How do you forget?" And it's like this really nice tracksuit right there, and and I was like, oh, I would have really wanted to. I'd have been upset if I didn't have that. She's like, "How do you forget you have that?" I was like, "I don't know. I clearly have a problem. I just am
I got
always
clothes. I got,
and
I
it's
got clothes.
I put it down. So then I looked, I'm like, oh, I remember why I wore this. This is early, mid April. So I'm like, oh shit, man, it's been there for like a month. I know they'd be like, yo, if you don't pick your shit up in 30 days, like whatever, whatever. And I'd have been tight if, because I would have never known, I guess. But then I'd have been looking at someday like, yo, where is that Puma
Yeah,
Nipsey outfit that I had?
you just been looking. This has been looking. I was
Yeah,
like, babe, have you seen it? Is
uh,
it in your? Is it mixed in with your stuff?
I'd have been totally upset. But
No,
totally
about the
cool.
running though.
Yeah.
About the running, that I take that as a tip now. I take it as a tip of like not trying to set the pace as soon as you start running because then you have to maintain it. Just slowly
Do
work
you
up.
use the Nike Run app?
I don't, and
So
you've told me to.
because Coach Bennett, so I don't really like listening to talking when I run, like a
Mhm.
podcast. I usually listen to music, but Coach Bennett he does these things called guided runs. So every time like I do these marathon trainings and they have all these runs that they expect for you to do in the week, and they all have a guided run attached to it. So you download the guided run and it starts off usually with him talking and he's setting kind of the mood of the race like, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what you need to be thinking. And so one of his big things is like, look, this is going to be the slowest part of your race. It's not going
Right,
to be the, and I'd say run slow, but it's going to be the slowest part of your race. And he always uses like these very loose metaphors where it could be about running or it could be about life, but it's like the same. It's like, and it's one of his favorite lines is like, this is about running, but this is also not about running. So he's the one that kind of got me into like, all right, you need to start off taking your time and
right,
then build your speed up because then once your body's warm and your joints are warm and everything, then you'll be able to run for longer versus like you trying to jump out the gate fast and then now
right.
you're gassed and now like if you could the best thing you could do is keep your mind at ease during this run because you're already thinking about how many steps, how many miles, how long it's going to be, if your shoes are right, you got a rock in your shoe, these
Okay.
socks suck. Like if you could just minimize the noise a little bit, right, then you should be fine. So he to me he will come in every so often and just like, hey, I'm just checking in on you, don't, hey, you're running at a good pace. You know what I want you to do? Keep that same pace. System check. How's everything going? He'll just kind of pop in every so often. And
Right.
it almost feels like it's resetting that clock for you. So as soon as I'm starting to stress myself out about, damn, why the fuck am I even out here? This is stupid. I'm sweating all over the place. Then he comes in and just kind of like
That's far.
fix everything for me. And then I'm like, okay, cool. And then by the time I look up, I'm like, oh shit, I'm halfway through this run and I got a really good pace and I'm not stressed out. So if you ever get the chance to do a guided run, like even if it's like he has ones for everything, even if it's like a 10-minute run, a 15-minute run, a 2K, a 3K, whatever. He has literally a run for, and sometimes Megan Thee Stallion was one. She was one.
I'll do that.
There was
I'll
a,
do
there was,
that.
it was like, yeah, she was just calling you a hottie the whole time. So
I'll
like,
have the Megan, please.
yeah. So they had one with John Carlos, the Olympic gold medalist. They had him on there once, actually three
That's
times.
cool.
Jerry Lorenzo's sister, um, what's her name? Angel or Manuel or something like that. But she's one of the Nike athletes, and she does three things on there. They're all just I swear by them. Like I used to like think running with the music was just fine, but having these guided runs to just kind of pop in every so often, it just kind of puts
And
my mind at ease.
it's on top of the music, so like your musical fade and they'll pop in.
It'll lower, so it's like it gives you like a bed underneath them talking, and it's never very long, like a minute here, 2 minutes here,
Yeah,
and then he'll pop out. He's like, I'll leave you to your devices and I'll get back to you at mile two or at 2K or 5K. Like during my
it's
10K run, he
yeah,
he gets back to you at 1K, then he gets back here at two, then he gets back here at like mile two, then like he just kind of keeps going on, and I'm like, okay,
that's
this is
fire.
perfect. Yeah, super cool. Yeah, love Coach Bennett. It looks
So
like Ted
yeah,
Lasso.
that they need to do that. Actually, they need to actually have a Ted Lasso joint.
Be nice.
um, so our first topic is we didn't have it listed because I honestly don't think it'll take too long. We kind of already have a good post on this conversation and kind of where to steer it. But we talked about like growing up and now seeing things as an adult through like these like a actual lens, like the lens of reality, and it's like you can't do this by yourself, or like this is hard to accomplish by yourself alone, um, or without a partner. So that leads us to another conversation that keeps rearing its ugly, unnecessary single head. Um, of the conversation of splitting bills or the problem with splitting bills. Going 50-50 with your lady, because it honestly, don't mean to exclude you, communities that date the same sex or however, but it usually pops up generally in hetero relationships with black men and black women.
Yeah,
We're here again,
because of
guiding
those generals, because of those generals.
those gosh darn generals that keep fucking everything up. Uh, Yeah, Gabrielle Union's talking about splitting things 50-50, really just because of the pressures of having to take care of multiple things. So this is just one thing that we take care of together. The house is, that's the thing that we take care of together. And I'm pretty sure they got their own business ventures that they handle together. But the gist of the conversation was just about, these rich people, Wade, Gabrielle Union, having to support, their own separate empires and people within that, older people, whatever, their family members that they had to take care of. So when they, do their house thing together, it's 50-50. Makes sense to reasonable people. Some people have a problem with it because, whatever. We're chiming in again because Ebony Williams said that she would not split the bill with anybody, and she putting no money in no man hand, and they not giving the man they change back. People, this is hard to do alone. Period. It's hard to do single, and it's definitely hard to do. With somebody in your face telling you that they not giving no man they change back. Like, it's unnecessary conversation. Stop. The only people, I promise you, people in happy and fulfilling relationships aren't having this conversation. Whether it's 50-50 or not, it is what it is, and everybody just goes on about their day. I promise you. Like, nobody's concerned with, hey, you didn't pay your half of the rent this month, or you didn't pay blah 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 blah. Blah. The rent is got to get paid regardless. So, bring what you have to bring to the pot, or if that's not your arrangement, then it's not your arrangement. But all this back and forth infighting between black men and black women about stupid shit is like, I don't know. It's extremely annoying that we're still here, and it's like, y'all, it's just bills. Like, they got to get paid either way. Like, it's I don't get it.
You know what I think is the most interesting? So I kind of had this conversation with Al this morning, um, and I think what worked best for us was I think because we've been together for a long time, and we kind of grew up in like this shit together, and so I think when you go into it in a situation with somebody and you have like whatever you did previously and then y'all come together and do it, then it doesn't really leave a lot of room for growth just simply because maybe you're not interested in changing like, oh, I did this before. I'm not, this is a non-negotiable, which is fair. Like I understand that you have your selling points and things that like you're just not going without. But at the end of the day, like whatever works for y'all works for y'all. And so I was telling her, we were kind of talking about it and I was saying like, um, not even like strictly on a financial thing, but like if if you're a woman and you want to be like kept, right? Which is fair, like that's fine. If you want to make it in that way,
Mm-hmm.
that man is going to have like very specific requests, right?
Just
And if he wants those things done, like that is you would have to do them to hold up your end of the bargain, which to be fair is still 50-50. Like that's still like, all right, he's doing this thing and you're doing this. The only reason why that doesn't work, in my opinion, is because one person is always going to devalue the work of that other one simply because they don't understand what that is, how that is valuable to the whole thing. So like
Bingo.
if you're a woman and you're a stay-at-home parent and like, all right, maybe you don't contribute anything financially, but like this shit sinks without you. Like there's no kids getting to school, your clothes aren't back from dry cleaning, you don't have anything to eat, the refrigerator's not stocked, everything is dirty, it's a mess. But but the guy will feel like, well, I'm paying for everything, so that shit don't mean nothing. And so at some point, you know, maybe he gets frustrated and he's like, man, I do most of this shit. And then vice versa. Like you come home and you just kind of kick your shit off and do whatever. And
Right.
she's like, man, all you're doing is contributing cash. Like, bro, that's very
There's so
small part
much
of it.
more.
There's things to do. And both people are right and both people are wrong. Like, but now you can't actually understand it from either person's point of view. Now, when you bust shit down the middle, where it's like, all right, you take out the trash, I put the trash bag in. You empty the dishwasher, I fill the dishwasher up. You pay half of the mortgage, I pay half the mortgage. No one ever feels like there's a part, not for the most part, like that you don't understand someone's plight because everyone's doing the same shit. It's just split. So like, I know Alex hates cleaning like the bathroom. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, I don't particularly give a fuck about that. But like, I don't like doing like the floors, and she doesn't particularly care about that. So that's like our trade off. You know what I'm saying? So she's never mad at me for not doing the floors, and I'm never upset at her for not doing the bathroom. Like it's just we understand that that's some shit that we don't like doing, and the other person do it. And to me, even if Dwayne Wade is that much more accomplished to her financially, like there's certain things that he is going to fall short at that she's going to carry the load on and vice versa.
Bingo.
And it just only makes sense for them to do it that way. And the last thing I'll say before I pass it back is that in my situation, like I have pretty close friends that have been with their ladies for a long time, like you obviously, and then like I have a friend named Chris and I have a friend named Richard, and they've been with their fiance or their significant others or wives for quite some time. And I've noticed that my conversations with them on those particular topics typically are consistent with these other people that we find have that we like look up to relationship wise, like maybe like for example Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. Like I'm
Right.
starting to realize like, oh, you know what, like real sane people, even if they're rich, believe the same things that like yeah, he could pay for everything, but it's like I feel more comfortable carrying my own weight. It's like, yeah, that's what men want, right? Isn't that what we wanted from women? Like, yeah, carry your own weight. We feel like they're not carrying their weight, even though that's not necessarily true. But like, that's what we feel like. That's what they feel like on a whole. Like, y'all ain't doing shit. Y'all just being cute, whatever, whatever. And it's like, oh, this is a person that's gonna pay her way, and then now she's getting killed for it. But they have the model relationship where it's a bunch of people that aren't in relationships talking about not giving people money back. And it's like
This is
maybe it's not that you're too accomplished why you can't find someone. It's that you have these stupid ass rules that mean
yeah.
nothing to nobody in real relationships.
You keep bringing these rules into it, and nobody happy in a relationship is worried about it. I probably like it's just not a thing. So yeah, I think you encapsulated it perfectly. These things happen in relationships where we all have our list of things that we enjoy doing, don't enjoy doing, are indifferent about, and we meet each other in the middle on them, and everything is smooth. If you have an arrangement with somebody where you don't do anything and you don't do anything, you don't do any part of one thing, they take care of another part. That resentment and oh, they don't understand what like that's gonna set in. So yeah, the best model or a model that I it worked for my household growing up. My parents been married 37, 38 years now. um I don't know, y'all, it seemed like it worked. Just find somebody that don't mind taking out the trash. You put the trash bag in, help out. That's the only, and like that's like you said, I take the trash bag out, you put the trash bag in. It's that type of thing where it's like one hand washes the other. We're a team. It's not a thing of, well, I just don't touch the trash, or even if you don't touch the trash, fine, but just find something else to do. If you're not finna ever pick up the baby from daycare, find like while the wife is out picking up the baby from daycare or the girl is out picking up the baby from daycare, clean up, cook something. So when they come back, she ain't gotta get the baby. Like it's just simple mathematics because these things have to be done. We still gotta eat, regardless of whether she in the house or not. So learn how to cook. Um, you know, my girl is better at putting shit together than me. I'm terrible at it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like when it came time to put together the crib, I did it. But I know who's better at it. And so and most of the time I'll be like, hey, can you at least guide me?
Yeah.
Like I understand if you don't
It's
actually want to
together.
screw shit in, but let's just knock this out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's just those things you just gotta y'all work it out for what works for best for your relationship. Comment on other people's relationship and what they got set up is not it's not beneficial to you know your situation, especially if you already are single and looking. Making rules based on other people's relationships and relationships that you've seen or the relationship you want is like it's just asinine. If you want to be kept, you know the criteria to be kept. If you don't want your woman paying bills or you don't want your woman touching nothing, eh, tell you right now, you know the
Yeah.
woman you finna get. Uh,
Yeah.
all these type of people know who they get. It's not a situation where you just
Yeah.
gonna find them. I saw a clip today. My man need to have 3 different jobs to pay what like you're single. It's not your man needs. Like this is a fantasy. We're on here talking about your fantasy. This is sci-fi at this point. You know what I'm saying? This is not a real thing. So people, please, once again, don't get roped into these conversations and start building out real and all these random ass rules and shit that nobody follows. Your grandma and your
Wish.
great grandma wasn't working because women's suffrage and they couldn't work.
Yeah.
And even then, they were working just in people's homes cleaning.
I wish that people would stop making relationships so transactional. I think that's like as soon as that dies, like people will actually be happy in their relationships. Because like I can easily see where like you feel like as far as like I'm not getting something back necessarily how I'm
Mm-hmm.
putting it into it. And it's hard to like build a relationship if like you're thinking everything's gonna be one to one. Like sometimes you're probably going to draw the short end of the stick, or sometimes you're going to be the one giving the short end of the stick. So like as far as like the whole
Hello.
relationship is concerned, like if as long as you guys can kind of come to some type of common ground and like build some type of community, like to me like that to me is like the biggest thing. And like us as and that kind of brings me to something I saw on Twitter. But like as far as community is concerned, like people like you appreciate the thoughts of community, the thought of community, but also like don't want to interact with people and like don't want to interact with your
Mm,
spouse outside of like something transactional. And so then like things get kind of like they get wonky. And so I saw a tweet, um, and it like every day like shit makes me even more upset. And the tweet it was kind of going viral. It got a lot of views. I don't know if you saw it, but it was like it was like something like I'm a firm believer of like not getting to know your neighbors. And like he was like, we're supposed to be connected because we live close to each other. And I was like, okay, well, like, all right, I'm not the most social person, but like, I would want somebody to like call the police if they saw somebody like climbing into my window and like motherfuckers is acting like they don't want to like even like look at like I try to make it a point to wave at my neighbor or say something small or something because who knows what could possibly happen. And like now we're just like we're already so divided as a community or as a society. And like
right.
now like all right, maybe you ain't dropping like a apple pie off at your neighbor's door, but like common courtesy, like if mail from their house comes to your house, like bringing the mail to them, like
Right.
like what do we if we don't have community, dog? Like what the
That's
fuck? Like,
people getting into these silos, man. I really think it's just we need to get off the phone for a little bit, man. We just need to pick our heads up. Like
That's the biggest
this
thing.
whole this thing right here, like that's and I don't know if I sound too much like a boomer, but it really is a thing.
Yeah,
Even in my own even in my own house in our own relationship, like with me and wifey, like if it's too much screen time, if we in a room for too long and ain't nobody talking because we all on Twitter, or if we can't have a conversation without bringing up something on Twitter, mm-mm. I like don't talk to me about nothing on Twitter today. Like that's no, we're not doing it today.
yeah,
Find something else to talk about because it's just like all of our conversation or all of our being really is like put into these devices, and I feel like I saw like Kyrie's and his advice to Ja. It's like, get into the real world, go get some sun, but not for real. Everybody need to touch grass. Like, put your phone down,
yeah,
talk to somebody, interact with somebody human. Like for real, for real. It shouldn't be a thing of you not wanting to speak to your neighbor, avoiding neighbors. Like that's man, my neighborhood, those people, that was my village. You know what I'm saying? And granted, we had decent neighbors, but the lady across the street, the lady next door, they all took care of me like that. When my parents, I guess, wanted to have their date nights or had their own business to handle or whatever they were doing, go over there to Lord, I don't forgot the lady's name, but it was several times. Miss Mika, um, we were in her house all the time. Next door, I call her like my second grandma. We were in her house all the time. Me and her grandkid, he passed away of maybe damn almost 10 years now. But he passed away. Me and him grew up together. So it's like you have these communities. The next door neighbor, my the, to the right, that was my first interaction with like pets and like a lot of dogs and stuff because it was a white dude listening to techno music, had a long ponytail at the back of his hat, and he had like 4 or 5 dogs, and 2 of them were big and they were cool, 3 of them were little, and like they were just always. It's just you need the community because those are the people that you know. One, summer jobs when you got kids, you guys need somebody to cut the grass. That was my little gig, how I kept money in my pocket, in high school, um playing drums at church and cutting people around the neighborhood's grass. But they already knew me, so it was like, yeah, we'll give you $20 to cut the grass, no biggie. you know um Being able, like you said, to have somebody to watch over the house while you're out of town if somebody's doing something suspicious. And granted, we black, so you know, I don't want to call the cops on me when you see me pulling up in there, but that also goes into they don't know me. so so they just see a guy, and put whatever bias they have on it, but you can't even think of it from that lens. Just go speak. Just go speak. Just go introduce yourself. Like you say, it don't have to be apple pie. Just go introduce yourself. Hey, this is me. That's the wife. Hey, how y'all doing? Like, it don't have to be these long, drawn out conversations or even talk about the weather or whatever. You don't have to do all that. Just introduce yourself, speak, build that community up. Those are going to be the people that, what I'm saying, you rely on. You get in the jam, you got to use the restroom. That's what happened in Uncut Gems. My man had to use the
hmm
bathroom, had to send his kid, hey man, you can't come in here. Can't come in here for unscrupulous reasons. You can't come in here. Go to the neighbor's crib. And it's just like, man, my neighbor used to take us to Taco Bell. We used to all pile up in her little Jeep and used to ride in the back of the Jeep in the little trunk part on the way to Taco Bell to go, like, just because they was going to Taco Bell, and it was like, hey, we going to Taco Bell, y'all want something? It was like, yeah, let's pile up all in the car and go to Taco Bell. And
yeah,
maybe that's too much for people, and that's fine.
yeah,
But don't completely just turn your back on the idea of getting to know new people, and the idea of community and having that space, because at the end of the day, we all we got. So it's like that whole borrow a cup of sugar from your neighbor thing. Like, that's you're gonna need them eventually, and it's best to
yeah,
know them so it's not like a thing of like, hey, I know I've never spoken to you before, but would you mind? It's like,
yeah.
yes, I would. I don't know you. Fuck you.
People are getting very weird with like it's already to a point like where everybody doesn't trust the government and things like that, and like now like the small echo chambers are getting larger, and now you can't even feel like you can like head nod your neighbor, like zero interest. Like I don't know. I think things are like I don't know. Would you prefer? to talk to people on social media? Like you're okay with like sliding into a stranger's DMs, but like not actually talking to someone. Like I'm not the like I said, I'm not the biggest social person, but I at least say hey or I wave or just so
Yeah,
it doesn't
it's
look like I'm being weird.
real light shit, y'all. Like that's what I'm saying. Like we I don't be talking for real. I really don't. And I don't like to. I'm I'm a social butterfly once you get to know me. But outside of that,
Yeah.
like if I'm not in a room full of people I already know, I'm probably gonna be quiet until somebody, either introduces me or whatever. But if there's a situation where it's beneficial for me to know these people, it's beneficial for me to put myself out there, not necessarily as a, outgoing person, but just it's just beneficial for me to talk or speak or let people know what my voice sounds like, who I am, who the wife is, what our situation is. We got a baby over here. Like y'all need to, chill out. I'm still in an apartment living, so it's like, hey, this is my family. So certain things you got to relax on because my family is here. But even then, it's like nobody's gonna respect that if you don't already have a rapport of, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Hey, good to see you. What's good? You know what I'm saying? At least if you can't even get the head nod out or the what's up or the good morning, you can't even get those little things out of the way. There's not going to be any room for anything more. And not that it has to be anything more, but just regular human hi that'll go a long way. You know what I'm saying? You never know what you're going to need these people for. So it's best to just speak.
The bars in hell. Bars in hell, man. It's so sad. Oh my goodness.
I get it, man. It's kind of hard to trust anybody today, and it's kind of
Yeah.
hard. Donald Trump kind of threw a monkey wrench in a lot of stuff. We were already feeling away because
We're gonna look back at 2016, like from 2016 on, and we're gonna be like,
yeah,
bro.
and and I hate how it happens, every 4 years, like the election cycle, because it just that's where people get that narrative from, where it's like, oh, they just blow up a story every 4 years, blah blah blah. But yeah, 2012 you get Trayvon, 2016 you get Trump, 2020 you get pandemic. Every 4 years something pops off, and the world just gets further and further like divided to where you know we just don't trust each other. And it's like, it's unfortunate, but you gotta find somebody to trust because, what I'm saying? Your shit go left. That's all you got. I'd rather have the gun toting conservative whatever. I'd rather he at least know my name and I can have a conversation. We don't have to agree on politics, but at least he know my name. He know I'm a decent guy. We have a decent rapport together. We ain't gotta be necessarily butt buddies or friends and shit, but you know
Maybe
what I'm
we can
saying?
bond on the Buccaneers. That's about it.
Find something and that's literally what people keep talking about. Where it's like you used to could talk to people, and it's like we can't because all the information that we're getting is literally fed to us by social media, and like now the CNN story comes off of social media. The bottom third of the news comes off of social media. So everything you're getting comes right back. It's linked to a tweet. It's linked to, and it's like y'all cut it out for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just get back to just watch just some regular ass TV. Go watch. I don't even say go watch The Simpsons. Go watch some bullshit TV real quick. Invite somebody over for a watch party. Invite somebody over for, hey, we cooking out. We watching the game. Blah 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 blah. Y'all get to know each other. Whatever. Talk 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 talk. Go back to the old rules of no politics, no religion,
Yeah.
and and you know what I'm saying, see what can happen. And if those conversations do come up and they become uncomfortable, do what everybody used to do and just say your little piece. And because it never was a problem, it wasn't a problem when people was biting their tongues. At least in my experience, and seeing my dad interact with people, seeing my mom interact with people, of course there were those times where it's like you have to because you're at work. But
Yeah.
when it comes to friend circles and you said communities and stuff like that, like these people that yeah, I'm not biting my tongue to appease my neighbor who is the same age. Like I don't give a shit. Like nigga, no, that's stupid. And it is what it is. Then we go on and we say, all right then, and that's it. And I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you when I see you. It doesn't have to be a thing of you're canceled. I'm gonna get you fired, or you know what I'm saying. This person is out here trying to fucking groom my child. Like, no, y'all get off of the internet, please. Put the shit
Yeah.
down and talk to people.
Memorial Day is coming. Put some caribou on the grill. Put some unicorn. Put some, some zebra if you got it.
If you got
The
it.
zebra patty if you got it. Put that on the grill and offer a plate. But let them see you cook it first so that they'll know you're not putting shit in it weird. Like, oh, you saw me
Yeah.
all day. Like I ain't doing weird shit. Real
Yeah.
quick, RIP to Tina Turner. I don't want to
The
get
legendary.
that out before before we get off. Obviously not quite yet, but we want to get that out there. That's that this always feels like when it just popped when it popped up for me, and I was like, dang man, I didn't realize she was 83. But yeah, obviously R.I.P. to her and the legend. Um, let's see what else. Uh, we didn't mention this last week, but real quick, um, uh, Jonathan Majors popped out with Megan Good. Um, and I think I wasn't the only one to say
Yes,
this, but
sir.
felt felt like he was finessing. But I mean, I respect it. I respect the grift if it
Hey,
is,
man. Hey,
maybe it is black love,
on
or
my boy
maybe
back.
maybe he hollered at hollered at Michael B and was like, "Yo, what works for you?" Oh, I'm gonna tell
on,
you, I
on my
dated
boy
a
back.
black lady.
On my
I
boy
dated
back.
a, so shout out to them. They was up in the what was that
Thank you,
Chipotle
Megan.
or some shit.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Megan. You ain't have to do that, Megan. You ain't have to do that, but I appreciate it.
Miss Good if you
Uh,
nasty. I think that's what she said. Miss Good if you
you know,
nasty.
what's called
Yeah,
especially after seeing Guardians of the Galaxy, they got a black villain. I don't know. Maybe Marvel is leaning into the black villain thing. We'll see how I feel about that later. I'll let Umar catch on. I'll let Umar catch on to it first, and then we'll see. But yeah, Marvel's leaning into black villains. But man, we killing them roles, bro. Like the fucking High Evolutionary and Guardians. That's like one of the best Marvel villains in a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the times when you get these villains in movies, they'll give them like these backstories and try to make you feel for them. This guy's just evil. It's just evil.
fuck
You
it.
know, it ain't nothing,
I'm just fucking shit up.
nothing to it. So it's just good to see just a bad guy. Like I don't want to have to resonate all the time and be like, oh, but look at it from their point of view. It's like, no, he's an
That's what
asshole.
they tried to do. That's what they tried to do with Joker. But I liked it when Joker was just like he had all this money, just set it on fire. He was like, "Fuck it, I don't care about this."
It's like
I was like,
I'm crazy.
"Yeah, I like that."
I'm crazy. I don't know why I do the shit I do. I just do it. It's like, thank you, thank you. He is a grown ass kindergartner. Um, but yeah, nah, I want my boy back, and I want the rest of the Kang shit. I want all the variants. I want Jonathan Majors in that role.
They holding out.
Hopefully,
They holding out.
hopefully he can get whatever he need to get resolved. Hopefully they can work that out amicably as possible. And for the people that have those stories that they're holding on to share that can potentially wreck whatever. I still say share them or don't. But if you're not gonna share them, then I want my boy back. And we're not gonna tell what he did for real. We're not gonna say it. What's
Yeah,
the what I forgot what he said. You got to put a face to it. You got to actually tell what's going on. You can't just keep saying, "Well, allegedly they did this." I want to know allegedly what they did. Don't just keep saying this person is an abuser because they abused this person. No, what
yeah.
did they do? This person say something like, or have somebody
Apparently he
on your
showed up.
behalf say something.
Apparently he showed up on his arraignment or whatever on Zoom, and they told him that he needed to be in person. So I guess we're gonna know something sometime soon because he'll have
I
some more court hearings, and
I'll take it.
so
Let's get it so we can either know what we're gonna do moving forward, and I'm selfishly, I'm only concerned with the entertainment portion of this. I think we have a good beat on if people are bad guys, if people are bad, we know what to do with them. We set them
I
out.
appreciate
You
him
know,
getting low. I appreciate him getting low because motherfuckers sometimes like Tory Lanez, like when he was doing what he was doing, I was like, bro, if you really just got low, just get low.
that's the
Like
Tory
you just
Lanez issue. That's the Nate Parker issue with his situation when they popped back up after he tried to, make his Nat Turner movie, and they were like, "Oh, this situation happened, in 20 years ago," and it's like what did he do? 20 years ago, he was being an asshole. She accused him of a crime. It was proven that he didn't do it, but at the same time, he's being a dickhead about it. So
Yeah.
you doing all this extra shit and doing all this rah rah is never gonna go well for you. So just shut up. Just shut up.
Especially when they
If
already are looking for a reason to get you out of the paint.
once
So this
again,
is the
black
easiest way.
like black
It's the
men,
easiest way.
black men, shut up sometimes. Shut up. Whether if you guilty, shut up. If you innocent,
Especially.
shut up. But yeah, especially if you know you did it. If you know you did it. You know what I'm saying?
The
When
biggest
you
thing
take
I always say is
fight in the
like,
court.
is it is there anything that good can come from this? Like, fuck if something bad can come from this. Is there anything positively for you to gain from talking about this?
Yeah, if you're
Because
gonna
if
have your
not,
pops on the steps decrying the Lord to rain fire on Jay Z and his if you're gonna do all that, just it'd probably be beneficial for you to one actually be innocent.
he put out a whole
Two,
mixtape.
what
Like, what are we doing, bro?
are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You did it. Like it's the thing. You shot. I hate to relitigate this, but you shot the gun. Like so, okay. We were fighting over the gun. I ain't necessarily, I ain't shoot her. I shot the flow. Like, boy, you pulled the trigger and you know you did. So why are you even like, why? What we
What were
doing?
your intentions? What were your intentions? Because to be fair, like if you pull out a gun, whether you said dance, whether you pointed at the air, pointed at the ground, did you have bad intentions when you pulled it out?
Man,
Yes.
it's the thing of like, bro, you pulled the trigger, someone was shot. Whether your aim was off or your aim was on and you hit the floor and it ricocheted or whatever else happened, you pulled the trigger, they got a bullet, you shot. That's just math. So it's like, but this is one of these situations, y'all, the best thing to do, it'll go a long way if you just shut up.
Just get
Period.
low.
In any situation, just shut up. Especially if it's legal. If you get in trouble with your girl, shut up. If you get in trouble at school for some shit, shut up. If they got you, they got you. If they don't, you know what I'm saying? Let the process, speak up. And when it's time to speak up in the process, don't be doing all this trying to get everybody on your side and be like, this is what they doing to me, y'all. Can y'all believe this? This is what really happened.
And
This is what they don't want you to know
and
about. Like,
today, something else is gonna pop out, and then your shit's gonna be old news in 72 hours.
they
Like
go, and
it
then
won't
we'll be
even
like,
be a
what?
big deal.
Yeah, what's going on with that? What is happening? What's going on with Johnny Majors? Oh, he's dating Megan Good now. Huh. Okay. Hey, and,
So shout out to
people,
him.
shout out to my boy.
Yeah, yeah. You leave the milk and honey, and you go to black of the berry, sweet of the juice.
You know what I'm saying? Well, go ahead.
She,
Go ahead, my brother.
and
Come back home.
she's been fine for a very long time. I remember
Hey.
there was a video went viral. She's very sheer dress, and
Mm-hmm.
that's all I'll say about it. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, wait,
Her, Janelle Monae.
hey,
Yeah, I'm out in the open, man. I gotta be quiet.
Corey Bailey. She just went on
Hey,
vacation.
man, I'm tell you something. Tell you something. You grown now, man. I don't. Hey,
She might be
she
top
20, about
five.
to be 25. She about to be 25, man. And I think once I saw her talk about it on Breakfast Club, and was like, "Hey, man, I'm old." I'm like, you know what? You are. This is like you are.
Yeah,
I can not feel bad about this. You all right. You can
yeah,
stop capping.
yeah. She's straight. I like women with dreads too. Um, LeBron, LeBron got swept. Um,
It shouldn't be like a thing, but of course it is. I get why it is, but it's like, y'all, the same reason why this is a thing is the reason why he's the best. But I'm like,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
I don't feel like, I don't argue about it no more. Whatever. You say Jordan the best, Jordan's the best. If I think what I think, it's okay. We don't have to argue. We're never gonna come to an agreement. There's data.
yeah.
I understand what we all saw with Jordan. I understand. I caught the back half of it. I get it. It's amazing. He's like solid.
He has cool
Love, love,
shoes.
love, love, love. Best shoes. Business empire, amazing tequila. And when I smoke cigars, I'm thinking about myself as Jordan. He is, a pop icon. Yeah, all those things are true. Um, I believe that LeBron James, based on his skill set and his numbers and his accomplishments, though he has not accomplished 6 rings without a loss or 6 rings period, I think for all other reasons, he's probably better than Michael Jordan. But he got swept. And the thing, I'm like, somebody was like, oh, Mike had to go up against the Celtics, and he got swept. What are we talking about? He didn't make it to the playoffs this last couple of years in the fucking NBA. What are we talking about?
Ironically enough, and I don't really get into the debate as far as like these guys are connected, but there was something I thought about the other day, and maybe this will bring up something very, you know, pressing for you to think about. So Mike split his championships, right? He left
Mm-hmm.
in '93, came back, and then won three more. But I think we could all probably agree that he probably wouldn't have won the chip the next few years. So the first thing I thought about was if he had played in those 2 seasons he was out, and I don't think he would have won those next 2 years.
The back seasons
The
or the middle ones?
the middle one. So like he wins three, then he retires,
Right.
plays baseball, then he comes back and then wins three more. He loses in that '95 playoff to Orlando, but then his next three full seasons he won
Yeah.
championships. So I'm thinking, all right, so Mike was out for 2 years or one and a half, whatever the case may be. Um, he probably wouldn't have won those championships. So I'm guessing if he wins the three, he doesn't win the next two because it would have been ridiculous to win five in a row. Does he even get those next set? Like, does he get those three? Because things may change.
Does he get
Maybe he
in
gets
the
something.
Does he get in the finals? And it's like,
Yeah,
what do
it's
we?
hard to say. And so then, how do we litigate that? Like in the fact that like I get it, it's such a ridiculous feat to win six in a row, 6 full seasons that you played in a Bulls uniform, you won championships. But like you did get kind of benefit from being out for 2 years and like getting to do other things and like let your body rest and whatever the case may be. But like even then, it's like they don't. That's not usually looked at as like a negative thing.
That
Like
he
we
had to
just
take two
pretend like
years off. We just ignore it,
yeah,
blur that
it's
out.
like and so I don't necessarily think that will take away from his greatness per se, but I would say like all right, like I think there is something to be said to play 20 consecutive seasons versus like because I think if LeBron had a break for 2 years, he probably could come back at 40 playing like he played
And
at 35 or
And that's
you
the
know.
thing. We know Jordan had 2 stints where he retired and came back. When he came back with the Wizards, he was still averaging like 20, but it was
Yeah.
that same ineffective as we saw happen to LeBron when he first got to the Lakers and got injured. And then most recently, the year before this year, when he was on the Lakers, and it was just like they couldn't make the playoffs. And they were struggling to make the playoffs this year before they made all those trades at the trade deadline. But it's like, yo, this isn't like a. How many years? Why did LeBron have the squad that he had when he got over there? It's because they were sticking up the joint with Kobe's last few years. Like, what are we talking about? So this guy's playing well into his 30. He's almost 40. He's played consecutively. There's no other superstar that's maintained this level of play other than maybe what Kareem. And even then, by the time Kareem was this age, he was on a team full of future Hall of Famers. So
Magic and Worthy and yeah. So he
like
could really be the second or third option at that point.
so what Kyrie I guess was supposed to be to LeBron in Cleveland that didn't check out. What AD was supposed to be over here in LA that didn't check out. Nobody's taking the mantle in the same way how the Lakers drafted a Magic Johnson and he turned out to be better than their expectations. Um, you know, and it's not to shoot no bell because he doesn't need it. His career is good enough on its face. There's no really need to do any of the acrobatics to make it make sense. If you just look at the man's stats, he's the number one all-time scoring leader in the NBA. All-time scoring leader. It's not a longevity stat because he's put up 25 points the whole time. So it's not just because he's just still in there and he's scoring his 10 a game now, and it's like no, he's still doing the same shit he was doing 10 years ago. Now, on top of all the other stats that he's still averaging 8 assists. He's still like his average is his average at almost 40 years old. So it's like,
It
come on,
does.
y'all.
It does. It is sad to look at him like knowing that he can't do it every night, and I think it is the foot thing. He was supposed to have surgery. I'm pretty sure he's probably going to get surgery. It
He's on the
does.
table
It
now.
does. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, he's getting right. Hopefully he can come back fresh, but it's just hard to expect that. And it's sad. Carmelo just retired, and my favorite D Wade has been gone. So now, like, we're literally the clock is
Oh yeah.
starting on LeBron leaving, and that's
Yep.
gonna hurt.
That's
That's
the
gonna be
thing.
something
The entire time I
sad.
watched the NBA has been his career. Um, Like I that's so however people felt when Kobe retired, I was excited to watch, Snoop in the stands and Kanye with the I feel like Kobe tee on and everything and how big of a moment that was. And even D Wade's last hurrah and his farewell tour, and jumping on the thing for the last
Yeah,
time. It's just
I was
like
crying like a baby.
yeah, man. So these moments they definitely have like some sort of cultural significance, man. And it's been amazing to watch. Hopefully, it can't go forever, so hopefully it goes a couple more years and we get to see him play with his son. You know, what I'm saying hopefully his son don't stink up the joint. If he do, that's what 2K is for. So you know, I'm good either
Yeah,
way. I already got my little man. I hope LeBron can do this. It's like no, I already did it. If he wins or not, I already did it. Don't worry about it. I got it.
awesome, awesome. Yeah,
um,
it'll be beautiful to see.
We're at an hour. Would you like to do
Yeah,
a quick DeSantis, or would you like to save that for next week? Because there will always be some Santos content to get into.
yeah, we'll get this. I'm never rushing to talk about the sacrimonious, the sanctimonious. What is 45
All right,
calling me
hey, we'll,
sanctimonious?
we'll
What the?
we'll do this. We'll do this. It comes down to it. It comes down to it. Uh, Trump or DeSantis. Biden's out. Biden's like he has a thing. He's not. I was like, hey y'all, I'm not. He's not. He's no longer a viable candidate. Blah blah blah. The chips are down. We got two Republicans on the table. We got DeSantis. We got Trump. Who you going with?
I like the point. I like the point, man.
Can I
You
still
know,
move the line? Is Liberia
it,
still open?
the thing is, I'd rather go at 45. We already did 4 years of this. How much worse could it be? I ain't really interested in seeing any more of DeSantis do any. I don't want to be surprised or some shit. I think I kind of understand where 45 is at. Like whatever, it is what it is. We might get another stimmy or something, maybe.
Maybe. Hey, nah, he ain't get voted in. He ain't doing that. It's me for It's me for vendetta at this point.
Yeah,
He getting all
yeah.
his
Fuck it.
get back. Oh
To the earth. I
man.
can't go. I can't run a third time. Fuck it. I'm just doing whatever. Yeah, I feel
Yes,
you. Ugh,
sir.
that's rough. Anyways,
Hey,
episode 11. Uh, man, good episode. Good talk. Follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Um,
yes,
that's
sir.
it. I don't know.